Parks and Recreation Commission, roll call.
Bob Zurich, John Freitag.
Here.
Bob Kleppel,
Here.
Kevin Creedy,
Here.
Tessie Steffens, Sparky Stuckenschneider,
Here.
Jeannie Miller-Wood, Dave Waymeyer,
Here.
Betty Werner,
Here.
Gavin Woolley,
Here.
Al Bear, Jeff Packey,
Here.
Doug Hagenauer.
Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Casey's going to track down the Amazon guy just walked in.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Probably got turned around in the middle of Jefferson Street one time, like, caused an accident right in front of Wimpy's. Well, that was a big truck, but he turned in like at 6th Street and started backing on Jefferson without even looking. I'm like, whoa. Councilman Bear is in Key West, Florida, so I know that's why he's in town this week, so.
That's an excused
Sure,
absence.
he's
He's asked for updates, so don't do anything too exciting. I don't have to text him.
I'm sure he's having a good time recreating down there.
He's doing research, man.
Yeah.
Are you going next week?
No, sir. I'm going to basketball games for the next 3 months.
Oh, yeah. All right, approval of minutes from the October 4th meeting.
Wasn't Jeannie Wood here last? She came a little late, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but her name's not
Okay.
as being present.
We'll make sure she gets added to the October 4th minutes, Jeannie.
I'll make a motion to approve.
With the modification.
Oh,
They said adding a name.
oh, okay.
Add Jeannie.
Yeah.
You can approve it, and we'll make sure we add her to, as a.
We got a,
With modification.
Yes.
got a motion by Gavin, second by
Betty.
Betty. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No. Wayne, Director's report?
Yes, okay. It's been a very productive month. The Midway grading is complete. Now we just need rain. And just so everyone knows, the Fair Board is still filling the lower portion down below Motorsports with the millings. I was just through there a while ago. There's a lot there. There's a portion that's not there, and then there'll still be compaction that has to go on and things like that. That'll be a gradual process between now and the next fair. But the Midway is complete. Our portion, or the city's portion, I should say, of that project was the grass seed, fertilizer, gypsum, and straw, and then labor that does not include labor, but our portion of it was about approximately $5,000, and that does not include the labor portion of it for all the straw and seeding and everything up there. And now Chad wanted me to make sure I tell everyone that there will likely still be some low spots next year, just because it's such a large area and was settling. Everything was very, very powdery, dusty when we were doing this, so there'll probably likely be some low spots that we'll have to fill in from time to time, but overall, it should be a much better surface for soccer and for the fair. I'm happy to report that tomorrow, the Dog Park Pavilion project, the donation at the Lions Club Help Fund, and also the Dog Park Club, I guess you would say, help fund the concrete for that. They made a $5,000 donation to the concrete. It will be completed tomorrow. The pavilions are up, concrete's poured. All we have to do is backfill up against all the concrete and touch up the soil and get out of there. So I'll talk a little bit in new business about a possible ribbon cutting date.
You still have time to seed and straw that?
It is what it is. It won't really matter if we don't get any rain. With it being 80 today, the temperatures look good for the next 10 days anyways.
It's still, there's not a blade of grass coming up on the Midway.
No, I know. Yeah.
No moisture.
So it will likely be, we won't have good grass at the Midway at least for 2 years, I would think. But the good thing is there's still a lot of wild Bermuda up there, so it'll take over pretty quick, I would think, hopefully. Auditorium roof, if you notice, if you've driven by, is green now, and it is complete. That project is complete. So we have 4 inches of foam up there, and it's got a hard coating over the top of the foam, and mixed into that coating was the green paint. So that portion's complete. The tuck pointing portion's probably 80% complete. There's some bricks that have the faces popped off, mostly on the north side, that Mr. Packey has to take out and then replace. And so we're supposed to look at brick color, I think, tomorrow possibly, for replacement bricks. The Echo Camp Park sign is in, replaced and in, and hopefully stays in for a long time. I'll likely get a picture, because that was a donation from Ziegler. They donated that sign after it got whatever happened to it. And we'll likely get a picture with Garrett or Ben or both of them, and you may see that on Facebook or something sometime soon. I've emailed them, but I haven't gotten a response, so they must not want their pictures taken, but we're going to try to get them there regardless. Memorial benches have been installed on the West Trail today. I was just down there. They look good. The ones on the East Trail will likely get installed either tomorrow or the next day. Well, not the next day, possibly tomorrow. The next day would be a holiday for us.
For a total of?
I think there was like 9 or 10 on the West Trail and like 7 or something like that on the East Trail.
Wow, that's very good.
We ordered 16, 19, 16 of them, I think. One of them is Jackie Miller posts, which we have to install up at Miller Post. And then there was a replacement one that WYSA wanted up by Lakeview. So that one got installed today, I believe, too, up at Lakeview by the YMCA. Let's see, next. Oh, Lafayette Park renovation. So this, don't know if I talked about this in the October meeting or not, but with the street project at 2nd Street in Lafayette, they had to dig out a small portion of the flower bed at the flower garden at Lafayette Park. KJU offered to donate. I inquired about redoing the sidewalk in the park because it was not in the best condition. It was on a slight incline. It was not ADA accessible. Then we started looking at the park some more, and it had a big hump in it, and so we graded out the hump. We worked with the garden club on flower replacement and how that's all going to work out. We got a curb installed on the front side, or what I guess it'd be the south side of the flower bed, that touches the city sidewalk. There's a curb there to keep the mulch in the bed, and they were actually able to form that curb into like a rough cut or boulder cut. Looks like kind of like boulders, like a rock wall basically is what I'm trying to say. And then we're going to install new sidewalk into the park that will be ADA compliant and level. And it will be, we let the garden club, I worked with Danielle McAfoose, who's on the Washington Bloom Committee and several other committees in town, and a member of the garden club, and worked with her as the kind of spokesperson for the city, the middleman, if you will, or middle woman, if you will, with the garden club at one of their meetings. And the garden club picked out a design for the sidewalk, cobblestone, so it would be like tannish, brownish color, cobblestone stamp on the new sidewalk in the park, which is what I picked out also, so that worked out well. And then we're going to look at getting the benches that are in there. We're old, and we're probably likely going to replace those, and we may work with them on getting one that says something about the garden club on it. And we'll be redoing the irrigation system in there. And then I'm also working with Danielle on, there's an idea, instead of having grass there and cutting those small strip of grass in the backside of the park, just making the whole thing plants, and working with the garden club on what type of plants should go in there. And then they also had a say, they picked out the 2 replacement trees that we're going to plant there on each side of the shelter, which they picked out redbud, which is what I was going to pick out also, so that worked out well.
2 for 2.
Yeah, so project's moving along, except I just got word from Chad, KJU has to pull off the concrete work on Second Street to go to some other job. So they're gonna be gone for a couple weeks, and then they'll be back, and hopefully we can get the sidewalk installed at that time. So, things are moving along, a lot going on behind the scenes there. I know it looks like a big kind of war zone right now, but there is stuff moving along. Miller Post, trail compost spreadings ongoing up there. We've got piles. We're supposed to get up there this week and do some work. Kind of behind the scenes, I've been working with Jackie Miller-Huber on getting the Miller Post Advisory Committee going again. We haven't met in some time, and there's various reasons for that, which I was telling some of you before the meeting, that when Jackie Miller Post passed away, that opened up a spot, and the family wanted to add a family friend, close family friend to the board, but per the covenants and the agreement that was made, that wasn't going to work out, and so now Jackie Miller-Huber is going to sit on the board, which works out perfect. And then we're trying to contact, or I'm trying to contact our contact at Shaw Nature Reserve, who's also on the board, who we haven't had much contact from since I've been here, to see if he's still interested in being on the board, and if he's not, then we'll figure out where we have to go from there, and then we'll be able to meet. And I'm also working with Mark Tobin through Jackie Miller-Huber on what he wants to do with the rest of his donation money. If you guys recall, last year about this time, he donated $25,000 to the Miller Post Nature Reserve, and he didn't have a whole lot of specifications except he wanted to see some trails put in, which we've done, and some maintenance on the existing trails, which we're still doing. But I'm working with him through Jackie on a potential, and I'm not going to, some other project, bigger project up there that would probably use up the rest of his funds. But until I have an agreement with her, or a verbal, yes, I want to do that from him, I'll just keep it to myself for now. Yes, sir.
Just for clarification, it is the Miller Post Nature Reserve, but it's Jackie Post Miller.
What have I been saying?
You've been saying
Post
Jackie.
Or I've been Miller Post.
Miller Post.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. And then also, I wanted to make you guys aware, in case you get any questions, on Monday, we closed it, and we do this normally for deer season, and we're working, there's signs up on both entrances that says it's closed for deer season, but I'm also working with Jackie. We normally post something on Facebook, which we're going to do, or we may have. Oh, you did? Okay. And she wanted, and I think it was a good idea, a little different wording other than it was just closed for deer season, because when we do that, we get tons of questions like, well, how can I hunt up there? Why can't I hunt up there? You know, how are you able to hunt up there? And so I did a little research, looked up some verbiage online, ran it by the city administrator. He thought it was good, and so she wanted, there's at least one access point that's not from a house or from a subdivision that we don't maintain, and she thought it would be a good idea to place a sign on a stake, laminated sign on a stake that says that it's closed for deer hunting, so no one walks in there unknowingly. And so we're working on that too. She actually had a couple spots, but I got to figure out where the other one was. So.
Does anybody actually hunt back there?
It varies from year to year, but this year there will be someone hunting back there. So
So how long is it closed? I don't know.
this deer season starts November 11th through November 21st,
10 days.
and then it'll open back up.
So it's only closed for gun season?
Firearm season.
Yeah, they call it the November portion of the firearm season, is how MDC has it listed. That's all for my report, unless anyone's got any questions.
Any questions, comments? No?
Got a question, Wayne, do you know by chance if there's any of these benches that are unspoken for?
We don't have any open pads right now, but we're looking at replacing some. I have a list, I haven't been able to get out yet to look at benches that are in fair to poor shape, benches that were likely installed in 1995, some of the very first ones. And I think a lot of those are up around Lakeview Park, and I guess Hillerman Park, around Lions Lake too. But I haven't been able to get out and look at them. But I know we do the intern tracked them 2 years ago, and she was able to take pictures and put in, and so I was able to run a report on benches that she deemed that were either fair or poor condition. So I have an Excel printout of those, which I think there's like 10, I think, maybe something like that. And so we'll be looking at possibly replacing some of those if we can't, if we don't know who the original donor was, if the original donor, which is what happened by the YMCA, we were able to get in touch with the original owner, or actually her son. I think she had passed away, and the son said he did not want to replace it and that we could basically sell the pad, so we did.
Kind of a little bit off the line, but Terry Sullenthorpe, I don't know if you know that name, but he was fire chief for years in the fire department and also down at the VFW at many positions. He's just been such an attribute to the community. We're trying to purchase a bench and put it on the VFW hillside there while he's still alive, because he's got stage 4 pancreatic, and it's day-to-day type thing.
Where's the VFW hillside?
We'll pay you for whatever.
Oh, up here? You mean at their place? Yeah. Well, it would have to be installed on city property. You know, if you,
He's asking to buy.
He just wants to purchase the
He
bench.
just
oh, you just want to purchase,
Order.
like just from a company or what? So you need a company to purchase a bench from?
Or if you got an
I
extra
think
one,
if,
or if you had an extra
Extra
supply.
one.
you got
Yeah,
one
we don't
sitting
have
in
any
the shop
extra
that's not
ones.
spoken for.
No, we don't have any of those. We could talk afterwards, though. There
Okay.
may be another spot on city property that might be a good spot for one, for him, particularly for him.
Yeah.
Because I worked with him, or I still, you know, with the POW ceremony in September at
Honor
the,
flight, the whole bit, he's done so much. And then
there may be a spot at the at the Veterans Memorial
Yeah.
up there, so. Anything else?
Anything else? Okay. Communications from the audience?
Casey.
Not everybody at
Okay,
once.
all right. Old business,
Oh, sorry, we kind of covered that in my
Yes, you did.
report, but
new business.
Um,
Dog park ribbon cutting,
yes. So Monday night at the council meeting, Ron Williams was here. And he was the one I initially dealt with the, I guess it was, I don't know if it was his idea, but he's the one that came to me initially with the dog park pavilions donation. And I asked him about ribbon cutting event, because I had heard through the grapevine that they were interested in that. And he said the best, if we want to get a lot of Lions Club members there, the best time to do it would be on a Tuesday afternoon after their meeting. And so I called him today, and I threw out I can't do it on the 14th because I have a meeting at 1:30 or 2 o'clock. And so I threw out November 21st, and he said they could do that. He verified with the president that they could do Tuesday, November 21st at 2 p.m. at the dog park. I know some people work, you know, I know some people are retired, so it's not going to work out for everyone, but I told them I would let you guys know. That's the tentative date. They're good with it. I talked to the city administrator. He's fine with it. So I would say plan on that, and we'll get the notification out to the city council, to you guys, to put it on, to Lions Club, to the dog park group to help fund the concrete pads. So sound like a good plan?
Sounds good.
Okay.
park master plan update.
I was hoping to have a little more update than this, but this month I'll be working on getting the RFQ out So we'll go out, we'll solicit, I'll have a list of requirements that we're looking for out of the park master plan. I'll send it out, get it out to potential companies that could do this work, and then we'll form a small committee, mostly of city staff to, and possibly one of you guys from this group, just to select the company, kind of look at these proposals, figure out who we want to go with. And then as we get into the once a company is selected, and as we get into the park master plan, there'll likely be a committee that you guys will be working on and working with the vendor with the park master plan. So right now, the ball's in my court. I just got to get the information out to the potential companies and go from there. So this will be a good winter project for us.
Any questions on that item? All right, plastic bag recycling, that great idea that Betty Warner came up with.
Yeah, so Betty brought this to my attention last week. I happened to be at my son's high school this weekend and saw a box there that had the website on it, written right on it, real big, and that's what if you guys don't, I got a couple copies here. I don't know. I sent out the links. I don't know how many people looked at it, but I didn't print copies for everyone, but they had a couple boxes in their high school, so they're collecting bags for benches. My parish actually did this a couple years ago. I think it was probably around COVID time. And they were able to get 2 benches out of people bringing bags to church on the weekends. And I participated in that. So it is a good idea. I don't know, I haven't looked, other than what the staff printed out for me here, I haven't looked too much into it. Looks like you got to collect 1,000 pounds over 12 months. And I don't know where a good place, I mean, we could set a box around here, in City Hall, the library, and try to get the word out through Facebook and obviously staff and things like that. Is that what?
According to the online, they provide two recycling bins.
Yeah, 2 boxes.
I do, yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
Does anyone have any ideas on like where we should
I-
put
I thi-
boxes
I-
or
I
any
think
thoughts
it's
or
It's
anything?
amazing, there's 14 items on there that probably right now, 11 or 12 of them are going into trash.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it could really help things. It's pretty neat.
Y'all need this?
We do a thing at Four Rivers where everybody, the kids and staff bring in their plastic bags and they make homeless mats. And I'm shocked at how many we get. I mean, people are really happy to donate those to any good cause. So I think you would be surprised by the number of bags you get. I think it's a great idea. It's really good.
Yeah, so we can manage it.
Yeah.
My staff can manage it, and we can have a box
Get in that
here.
habit of keeping
Having
them
a
to
bag.
donate, so.
Yeah, I take mine to Walmart or Schnucks wherever
Yeah,
I'm going
it
now.
works
So
out great.
instead of taking it to Walmart or Schnucks, I'll just bring them in here.
Well, obviously, probably be a good idea to have one at the recycling center, eh?
Yes,
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good idea.
yes. Good idea.
There's a lot of, yes, we have curbside recycling, but there's a lot of recycling that comes into the center directly from consumers.
Yeah, great point.
I'm shocked how these high school kids come in with huge, because you just stick the bag in a bag and you just keep going and then, yeah, it's,
They just.
It's all those Missourian bags.
One, just try it all.
If we keep them at our house, we can take them back to
yeah.
Schnucks or Walmart, whatever, you put them in the little bin there.
yeah, that's what I do.
But when you know it's going to a great cause, I think you're just more conscious of donating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, they provide the bins, right?
yeah,
Bins, so you just
Yeah.
gotta put them someplace and
yeah. On
see
like
what it goes for.
the 3rd page on, this is what it looked like at my son's high school. Brown box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tracks on, that's where I got the website. I was like, oh, sweet, now I know where to go.
Right.
So I just had to give the website to the staff and they looked it up.
I think it's, my sister's got it.
In some states, you have to pay 10 cents a bag, and some places
Get a
don't
gold
even
star
offer,
this month.
they don't even offer that.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll, between now and the next meeting, we'll get this going and try to get a box in here. I don't know how quickly we can get boxes, but Try to get one, however many, 2 of them that they give us. We'll get one at the recycling center and one here at the library, and get the word out on social media and email amongst all the, either, library and city hall staff. So.
Good deal.
And then, once we get a bench, we'll have to figure out where to put it.
There you go. Any other questions or comments on that proposal? Do we need anything from us to, no?
Nope,
Okay.
we'll get going on
Pool report.
it. Pool report. So in your packet, was the full report, because last meeting you had the revenue but not the expenses, because we still had some expenses out there. Now you have everything on one sheet, and, you can see that, expenses are up. Attendance was up, so that was good, a little bit, over 22. And then, but expenses were up, and that was due to the, probably likely mainly due to the increase we had to pay the lifeguards. But in retrospect, we did not have any lifeguard issues like we had the year before. And I think I mentioned this in one of the other meetings previously, Midwest Pool Management actually had an influx of lifeguard applications. They had too many applications for people wanting to work here in Washington, which was a good problem to have. They said they haven't had that problem at some of their cities in 10 years at least. But not all cities were like that. I talked to some other cities that they do services for, and some cities were still short, but I think those cities had already increased their pay. Well, I take that back. That's not true. I don't know why most cities, from what I heard, after the pools closed, we had a meeting. A lot of the cities that do their business with MPM, and most of them, if not all of them, had no problems finding lifeguards. The only problem was if you had an indoor pool and an outdoor pool, so you needed lots more lifeguards. Some of those pools ran into issues because you needed so many of them to work at 2 pools. But most of the outdoor pools didn't have any problems because they raised it from $12 an hour to $15. And I actually just read an article this week in some trade magazine, like in Dallas, they had 37 pools. The city of Dallas has 37 pools that they have to staff, and they raised their minimum fee, lifeguarding fee, it was already $15 an hour, and they were only getting high school and college kids, and they were having a hard time even getting those. They raised it to $20 an hour as their minimum starting pay, and what they found out was they weren't getting the high school and college kids for that pay. They were getting people that were semi-retired or retired. It was worth it for them to come out and work for $20 an hour and sit on the lifeguard stand and be a lifeguard, where we're at $15 an hour, we're still getting college and high school kids, but that's fine, as long as it's someone. That's good deal, so.
Did we have to raise the wage of any of the other, like the cashier staff, the concession stand?
Yes, they get a raise, a little bit here and there every year. I can't remember, do you remember offhand what we weren't paying those people 15? It was like 12, and it was above minimum wage. Was minimum wage 12 this year? Or 12.25, something like that. I don't know, we were like 50 cents. We were not at minimum wage. We were at least, I think, 25 or 50 cents above minimum wage as starting pay for those positions. And then if you return, you get a quarter or 50 cents each year too.
How long are we gonna be able to operate it at such a loss?
Well, pools are always a loss. Part of the budget. That's part of the deal. And so it's mainly a service to the residents.
We got the same loss, but twice as many people attending. You gotta look at it that way.
Yeah.
Well, you hope you don't lose as attendance goes up, or lose more, but
Yeah.
I think it's part of the general budget that the city anticipates that the pool is going to be at that. I appreciate the fact that we look at, it's went up a lot, but
Yeah.
I can't speak for everyone else, but that's something that you anticipate is gonna be in the budget at a loss every year.
Sure.
Yeah.
The service that we provide.
And we try to, we adjust our concession stand food prices and anything we can try to, you know, with inflation, 3% every year or more, on concession stand food and things like that to help offset some of them, but there's only so much you can offset when your lifeguarding expenses are, you know,
Well, and I
what they
even
are.
just look at the fact here that our attendance was 16,106. If you increase the daily ticket price $1, you're only making an additional $16,000.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna cover it.
I know.
It's not gonna,
So
then
it's, you know, it's not even there.
it's gonna impact it.
No, so, just something you have to know what's gonna happen.
It's been discussed.
Might get less
very popular.
participation if you raise it.
Alternatives, other ways to make money, but so far we haven't come up with anything. If anybody's got any good ideas, I'd be happy to.
So the big driver, the difference from 22 to 23, is that mainly salary?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Any other questions on the pool report? Comments? No? I don't know whether, I have something I'd like to bring up that I'm not sure. I have a question on bike trails and the crossings of streets. Who's responsible for that? Is it a park board or the park system?
That would probably be a transportation.
You mean
committee?
crosswalks?
For the bike trails. Like, for example, International and 9th Street and 5th Street and Old 100. We were crossing over there today, and, I mean, it's dangerous, especially International.
Washington's god-awful terrible as far as people adhering to crosswalks. They don't stop.
That's a correct street.
The cars don't stop at any place.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
have run red lights every day.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's
So to your
terrible.
point, Spark, are you saying that it's not painted on the road well
No,
enough, or it's not
no,
marked?
no, there's nothing,
It's not marked as those
letting,
spots.
there's nothing letting the people going on 5th Street or on 9th Street that's a bike trail and or even a walking path. And
I believe
think
it
it's
tells
extremely
you,
dangerous, and I think we need to do something.
Well, and that's curious. So my wife works over at Union at the government office, and the block right before the Mexican restaurant on Park, you know what I'm talking about? As you pull up to the health department building, it's not a stop sign, but it says yield to pedestrians, and there's a crosswalk painted in all 4 ways, and it's one of those common walkways. So it's almost a stop sign, but it's there. So I wonder if something like that wouldn't be something that we need to bring up in traffic control, or a traffic meeting, to look into something like that. Because you get the same problem at A Street and 47 also, where that trail ends there.
Well, but at least I think there's a signal
There's a
across.
Correct, there's a light there, so that does make a difference, I guess, you're right.
Yeah.
But at 9th Street and at Fifth Street
Ninth
at South Point.
9th and 5th Street.
Yeah, the only issue I see, I mean, people on International aren't just gonna stop because there's a yield sign.
Right.
No, they're not, but they're at least, you know,
the
maybe
same thing
some
with
people will
You
slow
can
down.
get like solar powered yield signs with the flashing LED
Correct.
lights, that if you're standing there waiting to go across, you press the button and it would light. That'd be the probably way to go.
That would be, right, we did that with the Front Street, speed limit signs, you know, those are solar powered.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I mean, is that something you bring up in traffic, or can we get that to Armstrong?
Tessie and I went to traffic meeting last week because we live in the first ward, and we're very concerned about down there at the bottom of East Fifth Street and Old 100, and for a lot of reasons. And we're going back next month, so we can, if you want us to give them
That's,
that
yeah.
information.
I think it'd be
Especially that
better-
area, because nobody, that trail hasn't been there, so nobody expects there to be traffic.
Well, you'd like to get it on the agenda prior to going to the meeting, though, wouldn't you?
They want you to come first because they told us that they will put us on the agenda for next month. So we can give them our concern, and unless we can get, I don't know, Jeff.
I'm just saying, we got powers that be in this room that can get it on the agenda.
I know, thanks for putting me
Do we
down.
need a,
You sure?
well, Betty, do we need a motion on the floor then on that?
Well, no, it's, I was,
it's
one-
not.
I brought it up because I didn't know, since it was a bike trail, if it would had anything to do with the Parks and Recreation
I
Department.
see. All right.
To ease a little bit of the conversation, I don't think that if you go to the traffic meeting, that they're gonna tell you, sorry, you can't talk, you're not on the agenda. That's
No,
not
no,
how
no,
it
they
works.
never said that.
So if you show up
Right,
there,
right.
they'll
Oh.
discuss it while you're there.
Right.
To Gavin's point, I don't think you have to worry about being on the agenda in
Okay.
order to talk. So again, my suggestion is you guys allow Betty and Tessie to go as park board members and say there's a concern here. Will you look into an option at those intersections because the park board has raised a concern that way? And if you come back and say they looked at us and said, no way,
Sure.
then you can discuss another option, or they can say they're taking under advisement, which I'm sure they will do, and go from there, would be my suggestion.
I like this.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Just-
And just so you know, I've been working with engineering that, and Sparky, you and I had talked about this, where the baseball outfield, where the trail ends there behind the baseball outfield, and then you got the really crappy road that is Strieger, that's all gonna be replaced with concrete. So where the concrete stops now, the concrete will connect there again and run all the way out to Fifth Street. And there'll be actually a little turnaround cul-de-sac like what you have down here at Fifth, or Jefferson and Eighth with a light pole. There'll be one of those right there. And that's in the budget this year and likely gonna happen in the spring, March, April, I think, is what we've kind of discussed preliminary. And so that crappy road, the rough road will be gone. It'll be shrunk down with 10-foot,
Yeah.
10-foot concrete and, seeded and strawed. And that dumpster area, I know engineering's working with the home or the apartments that are next door on getting that probably moved to the other side of their property or somewhere else, because a trash truck wouldn't be able to access it then, once that becomes a trail right there, so.
Okay.
No, the city doesn't, it's not vacated, and they don't want it, engineering doesn't want to vacate it
Oh,
either,
okay.
but,
So if it's not vacated, we don't have to maintain it as a full-size road, though? There's still an option to put it as just a trail sidewalk?
I think so, yeah. Big enough where a vehicle, it'll be wide enough where a vehicle can get back there.
You could still get a parking and go back?
Yeah.
Gotcha,
Yep.
okay.
Very good, very good. Is there anything else? Yeah.
I would like to invite everybody on December 6th to come to the Angel of Hope. It's always at 7 PM. And I have a totally separate concern. I can appreciate, and I don't know if this is the place or time to do it, but I appreciate Bob's commendation of Terry, but I feel that there was too much personal information said, and is there some way we can delete that from the minutes?
Oh, yeah, we
Please,
make sure,
because I just don't feel that that should be in a public record. Do I need to make a motion for that, or just
No.
what the?
yeah. Yeah, it's recorded right now, but it won't be in the minutes.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Yes.
Anything on the riverfront expansion trail
Yeah,
expansion?
Nothing I can share right now,
Okay.
but we should know something soon. I was sending off papers
Are you
today.
smiling or frowning?
Smiling. I was sending off papers today again, so I won't get the official word until all the paperwork is complete, so.
Thank
Shouldn't
you.
be long, though.
Thank you.
Wayne, what about the pipe extension at the trail, from a Mr. Whitworth standpoint?
Oh, same, I mean, I don't,
What was that again? Yeah.
I've been asked to ask about it, and I know Wayne has already been dealing with this, so I'll bring it up. There's a section right, I guess there's a pipe that goes underneath of the trail, and then shortly after the trail to the river is a ditch. And
just like all the rest of them.
Huh?
Just, I mean, we got them all over.
So, a certain patron of the park that's on the trail every single day has, asked Wayne or Chad or someone else about doing it. And we have other reasons. Well, he's contacted me and said, it's my last dying will that we get a piece of pipe down there so it doesn't wash the bank away. Wayne, is it as soon as you get into the trees on the east?
Yeah,
So, it's only this deep.
right.
I mean, it's not much there. So I don't know, what it takes? Is it a bad idea? Is it a
Well, it's
good
just gonna
idea?
clog, because I mean, we won't be able to clean it out. The fear is that it's gonna flood, the water's gonna back up in there, it's gonna compact with sand, and then we're gonna have a clogged like, it'll be more maintenance for us, basically.
Okay,
Where we can just, right now, we can just dig the ditch deeper and get the water to
so
drain.
now it's a 20-foot section underneath of the trail, and if we would add 40 feet, it would just be too much pipe.
I mean, it'd be a lot of small pipe that will likely clog, and we'll have other,
You know,
Okay,
a lot of those larger pipes, even down on the east side of the trail, used to extend to the river.
right.
They've all washed out and floated away because when the river backs up, it surcharges the pipe, pulls the pipe apart, and they fall out. So it's something that used to be there, especially on the big sections of pipe. There used to be more pipe there, but
Right. The one big section, we added rock whenever the bridge was done.
Yeah,
Got added in there and fixed a big problem.
yeah.
Filled that in with some of the rock that was left over that got put there. So,
But I was just down on the trail, on the west trail, there's a pipe by the mayor's new bench down there that I actually had some sand in front of it, I just dug out a while ago, but, I mean, it would be the same way. That pipe's right there on the trail, there's a good section of it that, you know, we could install a pipe and run it to the trail, you just got pipes running all over, and then we're constantly clogging them out. The shorter they are, the better, you know, if they're just under the trail, they're much easier to clean out than a, 50-foot pipe that's running to the river.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or anything? Maybe a motion to?
I did
adjourn?
have one question, I guess.
Okay.
I got approached out at Phoenix Park. They got the tennis courts there and got the nice playground area there now. Well, tennis area is lit, and the play area is dark. I was wondering if any possibility of getting a light. I'm just saying, it's just something somebody approached me with.
Light on the
I don't even know if we.
We
have-
don't
I haven't looked. I
Generally,
don't
light
know if we have lights on
playgrounds,
any
I
of the
don't know
playground
that that's
areas.
really a thing. I think that could lead to,
Vandalism.
I mean, the pavilions, I mean, I don't know how much light, the pavilion's pretty bright.
does,
Actually, I
I walked down there.
think the pavilion's actually maybe too
It's
bright,
not
but,
pitch black dark, that's for sure.
It is dark. yeah.
No playgrounds in town are lit, are they?
No.
That was my other concern, is I don't think there was any that was.
We don't want kids there after dark.
yeah, yeah,
Shenanigans happen.
yes.
I think it's your point, though, you see it from the pavilion, you're still able to go there.
Yeah.
But I guess it is different there, Kevin, like you said, because the tennis court lights are on.
Right.
We don't have that issue anywhere else.
Except Ronzick, the lights are on at when, that's the same way. It's still not like,
It's not lit.
it's not lit.
Right.
Yep.
Speaking of Phoenix Park, what's the big building going up
It is an,
right next to our,
that is an assisted living.
that is an assisted living?
That's the folks that are down on, what is it, 9th Street,
Yeah.
Okay, oh, yeah,
Aspen Valley.
okay, okay. All right. Very good.
More
Okay.
from there too, but I don't know where the disclose that yet either, but that's fine. I will just say, I brought it up at the council meeting on Monday night. As far as the Midway, Wayne talked about a while ago, what a great way to work with the Chamber of Commerce and the Fair Board to solve an issue that we had, for them to help out, and for Chad, Wayne, and his crew, I mean, I stopped by there a few days in a row and just made sure they're doing things right, It was a great thing. It worked out. Again, if we just had a little bit of
Is that
rain-
what they were saying about you?
Yeah, right.
Become that.
But no, I mean, yeah, we should have planted it sooner, but there's no better time than now, as far as that goes. And Wayne said this, I just want to reiterate it, it's not gonna be great next year.
Yeah.
When the fair comes to town, it's not gonna be lush green grass. There's gonna be issues. If we get a rainstorm, it's gonna be bad. But given where we were in a bowl. They fixed that situation. We had laser level there. What they did, it's there. It has potential to be a good situation, so.
And
Thanks to them for what they did and what they're doing.
Well, and the double whammy of adding, a more solid parking access area for the motorsports arena.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that gives those tractor trailers more room. They'll be less apt to park on Barclays Field and rut that all up like what happened 2 years ago. It gives them more room to, as you get closer to Barclays concession stand, the millings got really small there. It was basically just a really wide driveway there at one point when you come down from the asphalt. And that gives the trucks enough room to kind of turn around in there now, and so they won't be backing out onto the field and everything like that. So that part too, I don't nearly talk near as much about that part of it, but that's a win-win too. It gives them more parking, and like this past year, because we didn't want them parking on the field and the grass was so wet that they likely would have got stuck wherever they parked up there. They were parking down on Front Street, which caused issues down there, safety issues and things like that too. So hopefully we'll likely,
Out on West Main as well.
yeah, we'll likely hopefully be able to avoid those in the future. And the other thing, I don't know how many people realize it, Jeff probably realizes it, but at Midway, there was that hump in the field as you went west on the Midway. That was shaved down quite a bit, and so it's more accessible to tractor trailers and equipment, and even people walking it. It's a lot less steep than it was, and
Yeah.
once we get good grass in there, it'll be a really nice space again.
Do you know what's going on across the street there? It looks like a lot of backfill in there.
I don't,
Not the
I can't, yeah.
somebody personally bought that and they're clearing out the tree,
Yeah,
so that's it.
yeah, nothing with the Parks Department.
And I will say that in my few times of going there, the pickleball courts,
Oh,
it's crazy to me how many people use those pickleball courts. I mean, I know we've had a great fall as far as winter, temperatures go, but, I mean, that Friday morning I was there at 9 in the morning, there was 35 people there.
Insane.
yeah.
Switching courts, playing, now, Mr. Zerwesty asked me that we needed to paint the courts, the kitchen needed to be painted a different color than something else, and I said, if you're playing in the kitchen, Miles probably gonna get mad, but he didn't pick he said, when the sun shines this way, the lines are different, and I said, man, it looks pretty good to me. So,
Yeah,
there's for the lights and the lights on timers and all that kind of stuff, so.
yep, so the lights work, all you do is hit a button, they come on,
Right.
as long as it's between a certain time, and lots of use.
Anyway, it's just, one of those things, that I'll sit here and admit that a year ago, I said, there's no reason for this. It's not a big a deal. It's very well used.
Yeah.
And, no doubt, so.
Yeah, it turned out, it was perfect timing, because if you guys recall, we had the group coming to us, and Jeff, you even asked me to look into how we could renovate the old crumbling tennis courts that have water issues under them. And so this all worked, we were able to avoid that and essentially dumping good money into a potentially bad project there, and now we have a win-win project that's, people are able to use almost year-round and even at nighttime, so.
Once again, the Fair Board working with the Parks Department.
Right. Yep. And then one last thing I'd like to ask or say is, I know it's in the distance, but our half-cent capital improvement sales tax expires in '26. Before you know it, we're already in '24 here. Things are gonna happen sooner than you think. I think the mayor's been asked to reconvene the past committee to know where we stand on what we have done, what we promised we were gonna do. If you remember back in 17, we were looking at a pool first. So that was the start of that. So there's a lot of moving parts as far as that goes, what we have been able to do. Obviously, COVID in the middle of there, inflation now plays a role in all that. But we gotta look at the next capital improvement sales tax. So in '26, to go out to voters, as a council member, we can't solicit votes, but you guys can tell people while you're there all the good that we've done. And then I'll just tell you personally, I'm not gonna say this as a committee member, but think of those things that are next in the park system. That would be that, we're not gonna have a pool to put in '26. What is it? We've done a lot of great things with the half-cent capital improvement sales tax. And one thing we're getting as a council, and I'll credit the mayor for this too, and the administration, the half-cent capital improvement sales tax should not pay for a water tower. It should not pay for our sewer pipes to be, lined. Those should come out of your enterprise funds as you pay. So as you notice in the last 2 months, we've raised sewer rates, looking at water rates, connection fees. I know that's not, people don't like me for that, I get that, but that's what happens. those things should not be part of that, you know. Maintenance, general maintenance, those kind of things, we should not be using that funds for. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Think about those things that we could use in the parks, what we could use next, whether it be maintain, whether it be something new. And then that'll go back to, like I said, the committee, once we do form that in 25. Because if you recall, it was almost a year process leading up to the 2018 election. I know Dave was part of that. I don't know if someone else was part of that committee, or we did a few things with the pool and a few others. So anyway, just give that some thought. Hopefully put that like on your agenda, and those things you guys can discuss monthly, because those will be needed. You know, not that everything's gonna get done, but I take your ideas, I guess, back to council and back to that committee, and we can make what we're looking for the next 8 years. So, thank you.
Will the old pool house be renovated under the current capital sales improvement?
Don't put me on the spot, Gavin, but that's, there's,
Maybe?
maybe, that's right. Let me tell you, there's a list of 12 projects that need to be done yet, and there's money for some, and there's not for others. And depending on what we do, I think most voters, I'm sorry, Wayne, I don't want to talk out of turn here, but people understand that inflation makes a big difference on what we can afford to pay for right now. You're looking at lights in the motorsports arena, bathroom next to the north gate by the tennis courts.
And that will include regrading the tennis court area as well?
That's all part, you know,
Yeah,
that's all part of that. You're looking at, you know, like you said, moving the parks office to the pool house, HVAC in the auditorium. You know, we're doing the exterior. Are we gonna do the interior? We're looking at
Park shop,
park shop, street department shop,
firehouse.
and the firehouse. And the firehouse is gonna happen. You know, that's just first at Phoenix Park. But I'll give you an idea. We budgeted $2.1 million for that firehouse. I guarantee you it'll be double.
Easy.
It'll be 4+ if we do basic firehouse. So there's a lot of tough decisions to be made. Main stage at the fairgrounds, at the main stage pavilion, that's one thing that, you know, well, that's just came in over budget. So that's just a note. Well, the fair can't get Stage Pro for very much longer. They're not gonna do the stage we put together. So their hands are tied. So that conversation is being had. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of those things. It's just there's not enough dollars to go around. So part of the next process, I think, is finishing what we didn't finish. But you also have to have the public support, knowing we want to go out again, that we were stewards of the taxpayers' dollars and doing what we could do the whole time, but those things that we weren't able to do, that we can carry over. So again, it's a pretty big soapbox, but I've been a part of a lot of that. So anyway,
Thank you, Jeff.
We'll keep going as best we can.
Thank you.
Did I miss anything?
Well said.
Okay,
Thanks for the update, Jeff.
I may-
Appreciate that.
More than you need, Sparky.
Oh, fantastic.
so I make a motion that we adjourn.
Motion by Bob and a second by Bob. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Bob?
Opposed? The two Bobs.
That was last month too, we did that.
All right.
It's like, a couple days ago, we had 3 guys out of the 4th group